Go ahead and sign in.
You need a pen?
Mom says I'm so contagious.
Skip the chaos and the germs. Log in to waitfromhome.com. See wait times at over 15 UMC clinics. And when it's time to come in, we'll call or text. Skip the wait. Waitfromhome.com.
Welcome to the Reckham 247 Recruiting Show. I'm Krista Pirtle, and this is Daniel Pauling, and he's here to catch everybody up on the recruiting haps around Texas Tech, especially with the season starting up Saturday against Sam Houston State. Daniel, what are you seeing offensively for the Red Raiders?
Well, just kind of breaking it down to the 4 separate position groups, Texas Tech is looking really well on offense. They've gotten 12 commitments overall in their 25-player class. You know, I definitely like what they're doing. First of all, let's start at quarterback because that's what everybody wants to talk about. 3-star Jet Duffy. He's 6 foot tall, about 170 pounds, so he isn't the biggest guy. He doesn't have another Power 5 offer except his from Texas Tech. Accounted for 3,362 yards of 6,000 yards last year that his team had, Mansfield Lake Ridge. So he's definitely one of those guys who's a dual threat guy. He can rush the ball, he can throw the ball, he has good accuracy, but you know, he performed well in camps, but he doesn't have that recruiting interest. So it's kind of like, well, what's going on? Did he go to those camps just by luck, or was it, hey, are a lot of Power 5 teams missing out on him? One thing that's probably holding him back, 6 foot tall, 170 pounds or so. That's not big at all. His dad isn't that tall either, so I can't see, you know, Jet growing to be 6'2", 6'3" his senior year. So we'll kind of see how that plays out, but he seems to be an early enrollee, definitely a guy that Texas Tech is going to be really enjoying kind of going forward.
So besides the quarterback position, what are you seeing from the wide receivers? Wide
receivers, there's a ton of them. Right now there's 6 pass catchers, 5 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Let me read off these heights for you. TJ Vasher, 6'5". Dante Coleman, 6'4". Derek Willis, 6'4". And then you look at Antoine Wesley, 6'4". So you got 4 guys who are 6'4" or taller. Tech fans haven't really seen that around here. I mean, you see a lot of like maybe 6 foot, maybe 5'10" guys. I mean, you got a couple 5'10" guys, Bryson Denley, Daquan Bowman. Denley's actually 5'8", Bowman 5'11", but those guys bring a little bit of a versatility in terms of, you know, lining up in the slot, have some speed, you know, get out in space. With 6 pass catchers already committed, don't look for Tech to necessarily add another wide receiver unless it's a big name. Clyde LaFleur from Warren Easton High School out in New Orleans. He's probably their biggest target, 4-star wide receiver. We'll see if he decides to come to Texas Tech. He's probably going to make an official visit, name the Red Raiders to his top 6. Baton Rouge is also in there. I doubt if you live in New Orleans, you're going to make an official visit to Baton Rouge, you know, only an hour away. So that's the guy to keep an eye on. Cameron Williams, his mom graduated from Texas Tech, so that might be something in their favor. Actually downgraded from a 4-star to a 3-star. Audio Motosho, Bubba Ogabor, and Donnell Dunn, those guys love Texas Tech. I don't know if Texas Tech loves them back. I don't know if they're going to have room for those 3.
All right, and then looking at the running back guys, who does Texas Tech have interest in so far?
They got a commitment from Daleon Ward out at Dallas Skyline. You know, they have Bryson Denley also in his class. He plays running back for Cibolo Steel. He's faster than Justin Stockton. I know Justin's not going to be happy to hear that, but Bryson, as a sophomore, ran I believe beat Justin 10.5, 10.7 in the 100-meter dash. So that's a lot of speed right there. I think Bryson's going to line up as more of a slot receiver. Definitely has the talent to play running back. But Daleon Ward, probably one of the best backs in the Metroplex area. Ran for about 1,800 yards last year with 20 touchdowns. Had nearly 200 rushing yards in week 1 last week. Definitely a guy that Texas Tech is looking at. He's only got about 4 or 5 offers. TCU, Louisville are also in on him. So it's not like he's blowing up the world, but you know, I think with a good senior season, especially at a place like Skyline, that could help. He said, you know, he's still willing to look around. So his commitment, you know, he says it might be 100%, but you know, if you're looking around, maybe it's not 100%. But you know, they landed a couple of other Skyline kids, Clarence Henderson and Joe Wallace. Both of those guys are coming to Texas Tech. So, you know, if you're going to be joining 2 of your teammates in high school, that's probably where you're going to be headed. So I think having those 2 guys commit will help Tech hold on to Daleon Ward.
So you've broken down most of the offense, but some really important guys that don't get much love are the offensive linemen. Who's Tech looking at?
Who? Offensive linemen? What are those?
What are they? What?
No, Texas Tech, they've gotten 4 offensive linemen commits. I think they're probably done unless some guy like Greg Little comes along and says, hey, I want to commit to Tech. They'll make room. They'll find room for him. But I don't see them really adding anybody at this point. One huge thing, just like with the wide receiver position, they've got a ton of size committed to them right now. Zach Adams out in Fredericksburg, Virginia, 6'7". Travis Bruffy down in Houston, 6'7". Emory Giddens here in Coronado, 6'5". He's the small guy in the group. And Gio Pancotti from the Houston area, he's another 6'6" guy. I see Pancotti and Giddens being interior guys, center guards. They don't have the speed or the height. But hey, if they grow a couple of inches, then you might see them slide out to the outside. Zach Adams, Travis Bruffy, I see those guys as offensive tackles at the next level. Bruffy might need to add a little bit of weight. Last year was his first year at offensive tackle after playing tight end. Only weighs about 270, but with the frame of 6'7", you can see him adding a little bit of weight. Tech is graduating 3 starters from their offensive line this year. LaRaven Clark, Jared Castor, and Alfredo Morales. And then Balin Brown and Tony Morales, if he gets that 6 year of eligibility, that medical hardship waivers, that probably is going to happen just considering what he's gone through. So Tech will be losing all 5 of their offensive line starters from tomorrow's game in 2 years. So ideally, you probably would get another offensive tackle, but when you got 25 commitments, you don't have much room. You don't have much room to play around. So I guess it's just going to be those 4 guys, and we'll see how maybe senior years for a lot of guys play out.
Well, that's going to do it for us here on the Rec M 247 Recruiting Show. I'm Krista Pirtle. That's Daniel Pauling. We'll see you next time.